introduce myself, I'm just going to introduce myself. So, I mean, even though I'm actually with the University of as I said from you, today I'm actually presenting wearing my the other hat. So I'm actually wearing the BCTC, which is the blockchain technical community. I'm actually the chair of the propagation committee. So I know many of you in the audience are familiar with IEEE. So as a test, so how many members do we have as IEEE? Okay. How many? Yes? Okay. How many members do you think we have? IEEE as an organization. Any guess? Okay. Anyone else?
400,000.
Okay, well, that's very close. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have close to 500,000 members in 190 countries. So we are actually the largest. I know Ramesh has answered because he prepared the slides. So we actually are the largest organization in engineering and computer science space. So the way we actually organize, the members is we actually have 10 regions. So we have 10 regions. So as you can see, physically we are actually in region 10 right now in Singapore. And also, of course, it covers Australia and a few other countries. And in these 10 regions, we actually have more than 340 sessions. And I'm sure this number will keep on growing. And also, we have more than 200 publications. So in this case, publication refers to transactions, journals, and magazines. In fact, we have a number of EICs and ex-EIC. I think you are the EIC of Entrepreneur Trans on multimedia. You are the ex-EIC of communication survey and editorial, and among others. So we have a number of EICs, AEs actually in the audience today. So as you can see, there's also a lot of articles that IEEE publish as an organization. Now, of course, standards, I think I'm not going to go through that because I'm not really in the standard space. You can speak to Ramesh if you are interested in standards. And of course, we have 39 technical societies, 8 technical councils, and also 15 technical committees. So IEEE blockchain, BCTC is actually one of these 15 technical committees. So anything that relates to societies, councils, and technical communities will actually sit under TA. So there's a tab, TAB, Technical Activities Board. So as you know, because IEEE is a huge organization, so depending on what activities you are interested in, so they actually have support that are responsible for that. So application will clearly be in the EAB space and so on. So I'm sure again, many of you will be very familiar with this. At least you'll be a member of one or more societies. In fact, I believe Yongtang is also the fellow of one of the societies. I'm not sure which society will test me on that. And of course, we have council as well, and then we are blockchain the technical committees. And again, the abbreviation for technical committees is TC, but do not confuse that for technical committee. These are different. Because technical committee usually sit within a society or council. For example, I have a TC on blockchain and DLT, which is part of TAPS, TMS. So we are quite honored to be a partner and also a co-organizer of this conference. So we are technical committee and not technical committee. So, the whole purpose of having this technical committee is actually to serve as a platform for the committee. We want to build an ecosystem where we can actually serve as a platform for researchers, both in industry as well as academia, as well as policymakers to come together to share information to actually, because as you know, blockchain is very multidisciplinary, as we have heard from today's presentation as well, was Suthi's presentation, and also the Provost's presentation, that blockchain is very multidisciplinary. There's many applications of blockchain, not just in computer science or engineering field, there's mathematical and others. So we want to serve as a platform for all these different stakeholders, for all these different communities to come together to share information, to share knowledge, to actually identify challenges that we can work on together as a community. So that's actually the whole design or the whole aim of the blockchain technical community. So we have been around for quite a while. In fact, Ramesh is actually the one behind the brain. So if you are interested in the history of BCTC, speak to him. He's there. So he's here to answer the bigger question, save the easy one for me. So we have been around since 2017, so we are kind of slowly moving towards TC 2.0. And again, I think TC 2.0 is a very new concept. How many of you in the audience are familiar with TC 2.0? So we are right now TC 1.0. Okay, do you want to share what is the... Okay, so I believe TC 2.0 has not been formally approved yet. So right now, as we understand, there's only two TCs that have moved on to TC 2.0 pilot. So that's a smart cities and IoT. So we're actually also in the process of going through TC 2.0. And of course, Ramesh and the team has put a lot of effort in making sure that we are there. So one of the difference between TC 1.0 and TC 2.0 are those in the highlight. But more importantly, currently as a TC, we cannot own publications, which means that we cannot have our own transactions, journals, or magazines. Whereas TC 2.0, we can actually have our own application. So right now we are also working on the transactions on DLT, which we hope to present to the board, I think by the end of this year. And of course, these are some of the differences which I'm not going to go through in the interest of time. So you may be wondering, so what's the difference between the TC 2.0, a technical society, as well, or technical council? I think one of the key differences is TC 2.0 we cannot nominate fellows. I mean, unlike societies or councils, they can nominate fellows, whereas we can't. So I guess this is actually one of the key differences between the society, council, and TC 2.0, right? So I think one of the key difference between society, council, and us 2.0 is we cannot have fellows, we cannot nominate fellows, IEEE fellows. Right. So I guess that's actually the key difference. And of course, we'll be sitting under tax as I mentioned earlier, but we have no voting rights. So we actually have a number of other societies sponsoring us. So we have 10 organization units, we have 10 PES, we have reliability standards, comms, IAS, industry, HAPS, which I'm a part of, BTS, PLS, and solid state. So we have 10 societies, sponsoring our BCDC. And again, some of you here may be in the leadership position in your respective technical society or council. If you feel strongly for blockchain, of course, I know that since you are here, you are interested or you are working in blockchain. So if you feel strongly for it, please speak to your society's president or VP, TAs, technical activities, and then we can have a chat on how we can actually work together. And as part of our governing board, as I mentioned before, because we have 10 organization units, so each of the organization units, depending on the level of contribution, we have reps. So I'm actually the rep from TMS, and in addition to me wearing the chair of the application committee head. So the governing body, Ramesh is the chair, and then we have Laura, who's also in charge of conference, and then we have a few others, board members. And we also have liaison as well, because the 10 OUs, I think some of you may be wondering, Computer Society is definitely a key player in blockchain. Why are they missing? Well, they are not. We are actually involved in the BCDC as well. So we have a liaison from Computer Society, RFID Society, and SMC, and others. Now, of course, as part of BCDC, we also have functional committees. We have community development, we have conferences and events. In fact, we do have a small part of budget to support individuals, to support groups who are interested in to organize conference. So we can work with you. If you're interested to organize a conference in the future, speak to us, or speak to Laura, actually, he's the person in charge of conference. But happy to make a connection. So we do have a lot of money to support conferences at regional levels as well. And of course, we have education, which I'm going to go through. Okay, never mind. So any of you who are interested to propose a new TC, again, feel free to speak to us. We'll be more than happy to work with you to actually establish another technical committee under our BCDC. And we also have a number of different groups in the 10 regions. So for example, in the region 1 to 7, we have, I think we have more than 85 groups, and I think more than half of them, as you can see, are actually in region 8, the EMEA region. So as you can see, we are actually, they're actually quite active in the space. Now, we also have one small group in Singapore. So again, I believe it's actually, I think there's more things to be done.
Well, they were active in 1890, right? So now they quiet.
I will try not to say that. So again, if you see the city that you're in is missing a group, now this is actually a sign that you should consider forming a group, and then feel free to speak to us if you're interested to form a group. We do have some support, especially for the regional activities and meetings and so on. So hopefully you'll be able to add additional groups to our community, because we want to grow the community, we want to grow the ecosystem. And we do have, so we have a number of groups which are our IEEE blockchain. So these are some activities that are actually conducted by the different groups at the regional level. So we have regional activity, we have conference. In fact, we are going to run the IEEE CDLT conference or DLT in Pune, India this year, at the end of this year. So this is actually the first conference that we are going to run as part of the BCDC umbrella. And of course, we have a number of workshops, which I'm going to show in the later slide as well. We have industry forum, we have standards working group, which I believe Ramesh is very active on that. And then we also collaborate on papers, reports, books, case studies, and also industry projects. So because, as mentioned, it's an ecosystem, we want to make sure that when you come together, you don't just walk away with a cup of coffee and say, oh, it's nice to meet you, but you really walk away with something concrete, with a joint project, with some collaborative research. And then these are some of the types of engagement that we have at the regional level, for example, within local groups. And then we also have we are also a knowledge partner in some of the IEEE and non-IEEE events. For example, in this NBC 2025, IEEE BCTC this year, knowledge partner. And of course, we are both a technical and financial sponsor for some of the IEEE and non-IEEE events as well. So this is actually a list of some of the events, including NBC. As you can see, we are actually a knowledge partner. And we are actually a knowledge partner in a number of blockchain conferences around the world. So you'll be surprised how many conferences there are, both IEEE and non-IEEE. This is only a snapshot of those that are upcoming. And IEEE blockchain standards. So I guess these are some of the topics that we are working on, both in terms of horizontal and vertical. So education. Okay. So earlier I mentioned that we also have an education council. An educational committee. So as part of our education committee, we do have a number of courses that we are running. So as you can see, this is a very short list of courses. Because we are just starting out. So for example, I think in Siping's slide, we actually have a list of topics, and I'm sure that some of the topics that your team and collaborators have, if you are interested to actually develop them into courses, feel free to we can connect later as well, because clearly there are many gaps that are missing. And again, because many of you are in the research space, in the educational space, if you have any topics that you would like to propose, for example, economics of blockchain, game theory, and others, feel free to speak to us, and then we can work with you to actually develop the course, so that we can actually deliver to our stakeholders, to the broader members of IEEE, and also beyond. Any questions so far? Okay, good. And we also have, even though we do not own publications, but we do have the IEEE Watch Medical Briefs, which has been going on for a while. So the current EIC is actually managing, and it is actually Nora, who's also the chair of the conference committee, as well as being the vice chair. The first EIC was Wang Chonggang, who was the founding editor-in-chief for IEEE IoT Journal. So this is actually some of our submissions guidelines. So basically, you can think of it as some sort of magazine, similar to IEEE Communication Magazine or Mail Magazine. So basically, it's written as a way to communicate to the lay audience, intelligent lay audience. So it's not in the transaction or journal format. So again, feel free to speak to us. And of course, you can find information on the website as well. So there are a number of IEEE conferences, dedicated to blockchain, and we are actually either the knowledge or technical or financial sponsor in a number of them. So these are some of the key conferences for the ICDS. I'm sure some of these conferences will be very, very familiar with you. But I think this morning I was speaking to someone who actually attended just the IEEE blockchain conference in China, and of course ICBC as well. So earlier I mentioned that we're actually working on the new publications, as part of BCTC. So what we are proposing is actually IEEE transactions on the LTs. And these are some of the scope and some of focus that we hope to achieve. So again, if any of you are interested to be part of this initiative, for example, if you want to serve as an AE or if you want to serve as a reviewer, please feel free to connect with me. I'll be happy to work with you on this. And again, for those of you who are assisting EICs of IEEE transactions, please feel free to support our proposal when it comes to you for voting. So I think that's very important. Thank you. So for call for award nominations, as you know, I think this last year, basically last year's recipients will be receiving the awards tomorrow, and we are going to continue this award nomination as well. So for next year, TAMS TC, which is a TC that I have in hand, and BCTC, we are going to have a joint award. So it's pretty much, I think most of our award category will not change, but we are introducing new awards. So for example, we are going to have issue a call for award nomination very soon. So these are the research achievement awards. So we have technical achievement, we have career, early career, and outstanding thesis award. As the name of the award is somewhat self-explanatory. So I believe we actually have a recipient of all the awards. I think we asked this one in the audience was, I think Jen San is actually the recipient of the technical achievement. Mid-career, I think is also here as well. At the same time, we also have service awards, so we have distinguished leadership awards. And because right now, I mean, especially now we are going to join with BCTC, and as I have presented, so we have a large community, we have a large ecosystem with more than 85 working groups and so on. So what we are proposing is, we are also hoping to have a most active region awards, because clearly some regions are more active than others. So we want to award those level of activities. I mean, because it takes a lot of effort and time to actually run those regions, to run those events. We want to reward them as well. So we are planning to actually have the most active region awards, and perhaps industry, because I mean, as you know, I think blockchain is actually it's not just for academia, but it's also industry as well. So we want to be able to reward the industry. So we are also planning to have the industry awards. So if you have any ideas on, I mean, the type of what category that you want to see, feel free to approach me, especially in the next 1 or 2 weeks, because we're kind of finalizing them soon. So we get IMF resolution because I know that mine is before 9, so I don't want to be the showstopper. So any questions?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, and this concludes this session.